We would also like to give thanks to our FINEX sponsors, Florida. Diamond sponsors Forecasting and Planning Technologies and Mega World. To our gold sponsors Deloitte, Institute of Management Accountants, and Robinson's Land. To our patron sponsor RCBC. And to our minor sponsor Wilcon Depot Inc. Discover the way forward with our speakers from MasterCard, Sendit, and Wise as they share their insights on the convergence of the global payment ecosystem. This is on August 24 at 12 noon. Off Balance, the art of dealing with grief and burnout. Join us as we learn from healing experts during this very tumultuous time. This is on August 27 at 2 p.m. Do you know a woman leader who is leveraging technology to deliver value? Nominate them for the Women in Finance Technology Leadership 2022 Awards. Or if this sounds like you, apply today. To know more details, check the website www.wiftleadership.com. Does your CFO have what it takes to receive the coveted Everlasting Excellence Trophy? Visit our website at www.ingphoenixcfooftheyear.com to know more about the nomination. The Social Involvement Committee of FINEX Foundation is pleased to announce that copies of Handbook of Personal Finance, authored by Ms. Ellen Cabrera, are now available at the FINEX office. Please contact the Secretariat for interested parties. We would now like to thank our year-round sponsors. To our Platinum sponsors, KPMG, RG Manabat and Company, and Union Bank of the Philippines. To our Gold sponsors, Ayala Land Inc., Filipina Shell Petroleum Corporation, and SGV and Company. And to our patron sponsors, BDO Unibank Inc., P&A Grant Thornton, and San Miguel Corporation. We would also like to thank Cherry Auto Philippines for sponsoring the car raffle. We would also like to give thanks to our FINEX Week sponsors. To our Diamond sponsors, Forecasting and Planning Technologies and Mega World. To our Gold sponsors, Deloitte, Institute of Management Accountants, and Robinson's Land. To our patron sponsor, RCBC. And to our minor sponsor, Wilcon Depot Inc. Let us all welcome our host for today. He is the Liaison Director of Programs and Meetings Committee, Mr. Ronald Luis Goseco.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat, mga kasama. And welcome to the 8th General Membership Meeting of FINEX. We are streamed live as well on our FINEX official Facebook page. To formally open the program, may I call on our President, Mike Gorin. Please welcome Mike Gorin. Thank you. There we go.
Thank you, Ned. So good afternoon. I would like to call our 8th General Membership Meeting to order.
Please join us and please stand for the
Heavenly Father, you are our Creator, our light, our wisdom and strength. May we ask for your guiding hand to lead us through this forum today and every day as we accomplish our work and various tasks. We pray for joy, enthusiasm, and fulfillment in our work. May we conduct ourselves and our business dealings in an environment of fairness, respect, and compassion. May we ask you to enter the hearts and minds of our leaders and countrymen. Give them strength, wisdom, so that they may lead us through these difficult times with honesty, integrity, humility, and selflessness. Finally, we pray that you extend your healing hand over us, our families, and our nation, and help us overcome this health crisis that has claimed so many lives, including the lives of many of our friends, family members, and colleagues. Please heal those who are sick and guide the hands and minds of our doctors and nurses as they care for them. All these we humbly pray. Amen.
you. May you take your seats.
So good afternoon, everyone. Again, good afternoon to our dear FINEX members who are here physically and as well as those who dialed in, to our officers and to our guests today. I would like to give due recognition to our special guests as well. Board member Tess Di Maculangan is here. Hi, Ms. Tess. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Surprise. And then former SEC Chair, Mr. Resita Herbosa. Attorney, welcome to our general membership meeting. And former BSP Governor, Sai Titanco. Thank you, Gov Sai, for gracing us. Thank you very much. So again, I would like to thank all of you who are present here and who dialed in to our 8th regular general membership meeting for the year. And I'm sure you've noticed we've likewise been having several special general membership meetings. So I think this is our 10th or 11th membership meeting in general, no, for the year. So given our theme for this afternoon, I would like to touch on the balancing act that leaders are now required to perform when it comes to the areas of privacy, security, and ethics. Organizations are striving to devise the perfect data mix, so to speak, of personal data elements that will unlock new opportunities for insight-driven decision-making, innovation, and revenue growth, all while trying to make sure that privacy, security, and ethics with special focus this afternoon, concerns are effectively managed at all times. So it is much like trying to do a chemistry set. The elements of any organization's data inventory can be strategically combined for game-changing success in the digital era. And at the same time, the wrong mix of blend of data assets can prove to be combustible and sometimes even toxic amid rising consumer concerns and regulatory scrutiny regarding the appropriate use of personal data. Although I'm using personal data as basis for now, I'd like to think that in our discussions later on, it will touch more on other aspects of the digital economy. So the act of compiling and analyzing data with today's remarkable tools and capabilities is certainly enabling data-driven businesses in every sector to enhance and personalize customer relationships and to develop innovative new products and to drive growth. And this is only the beginning. To capitalize on data as a source of competitive advantage, given that most of us here are active in business, organizations are working hard to answer the following items. So allow me to go through some of these items. Number one, how can personal data be monetized to open new revenue streams? Number one. The number two, how will the public perceive innovation in the use of their data? Given how sensitive the market could be, it is a rather important subtopic that we should all consider. Number three, how much to then invest as privacy rights and the regulatory landscape evolve? Maybe companies need to adjust their capital expenditures to take into account regulatory and third-party requirements. Fourth out of five, how do we deal with the privacy paradox, the apparent inconsistency between customer concerns about privacy and actual online behavior? When people behave online and when they do all of their choices, they don't try to hide those. But again, as much as possible, they want those to be kept confidential. And then fifth consideration would be, how will data processing practices be perceived from a security and ethics perspective by the growing number of watchdogs scrutinizing data use? So as today's data ecosystem continues to expand exponentially, organizations have plenty to gain in their pursuit of data-driven business models. So with the proliferation of cloud computing, the globalization of business systems, processes, and supply chains, and the ubiquity of mobile phones and social media, customer data is being collected, analyzed, and shared at unprecedented levels. At the same time, the rapid emergence of digital labor, the growing use of AI, and predictive capabilities are already increasing the potential of data-driven organizations to embrace digital disruption. And we'd like to think again that we can further expound on that, given the talk by our special guest and by the panel discussants this afternoon. So how do we then deliver new value to customers and enable businesses, well, entities in general, profit and non-profit, to emerge successfully in this new reality? But when set against the backdrop of growing privacy, security and ethics concerns and regulatory scrutiny, leveraging consumer data wisely is now becoming more critical. I'm sure our guest of honor today, Mr. Alin Guo, will touch on some of these items. We would like to thank you, Mr. Guo, for gracing our event this afternoon. Thank you very much. And after his keynote message, also I would also like to thank the members of the panel that will join him up on stage. So to our ever reliable Mr. Ray Lugtu, likewise our ICT Committee Chair. Thank you, Ray. Attorney Rose Dominguez, partner, CCPLO, thank you for always being a friend of FINEX. And to Mr. Alvin Pusing of PwC's RC, Risk Consulting Group, thank you. We look forward to your discussions later. And I know that we are already in the 8th month of the year, but I hope all members and guests will continue to support all of our FINEX Institute, FINEX Academy, and FINEX Foundation activities for the rest of the year. And just in case you don't know, it is our general membership meeting this afternoon is also care of the Ethics Committee. So I would like to give due recognition to its liaison director, former PNB Chair Flor Tariela. Director Flor, I know you're online, so thank you for all the help. And to the committee chair, Chair Wilma, of course, for always working hard for this. So again, good day to all of you. Enjoy our program and mabuhay ang FINEX.
Thank you, President Mike. Before you proceed to the next part of our program, we would like to recognize our past presidents who are with us today. Ed Francisco, he's out there. Marivic Españo, there she is. Frank Isaac, and of course, Jeng Pascual. Thank you for joining us at this GMM. The next part of the program is an MOU signing with PIRA, and this will be hosted by Carlos Cervantes, who will be joining us online. So it's a virtual signing with, of course, the President Mike signing for FINEX and Doming. Can we call Mr. Go? Carlos, are you online?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ned. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. FINEX will sign a memorandum of understanding with the Philippine Insurers and Reinsurers Association, also known as PIRA, P-I-R-A. PIRA is committed to working and making all aspects of non-life insurance easier for consumers, intermediaries, and insurance companies in the Philippines. Established in 1954, PIRA early on was tasked to provide the prescribed rates for insurance companies and was aptly named the Philippine Insurance Rating Association. 4 decades after its founding, the company merged with the Insurance and Surety Association of the Philippines, ISAP, ISAP, with PIRA retaining its acronym but renamed the Philippine Insurers and Reinsurers Association. PIRA's 56 member companies provide 100% of the domestic non-life insurance services sold in the country. PIRA members also account for a substantial investment in the Philippine stock market. Our president, Mr. Michael Arcatomigorin, will be representative of FINEX, and with Mr. Domingo Go, the licensed director of Affiliates and Partnerships Committee, and yours truly, the chairman of the Affiliates and Partnership Committee, acting as witness. PIRA will be represented by its chairman, Mr. Edgardo Rosario, with Mr. Rogelio Concepcion, their general manager, and Mr. Michael Relosa, their executive director and trustee. kindly open your cameras for us to see. You may now please start signing the memorandum of understanding and kindly show to the camera once you are done. There you are. We're done with the signatures of Mr. Relosa and Mr. Rosario, as well as Mr. Go and Mr. Guarin. Thank you, Mr. Rosario and Mr. Concepcion, and Mr. Guarin and Mr. Go. We hope to have a fruitful partnership with you. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat. Thank you very much, Kaloy. Our next item, of course, of the in the program is our guest speaker, and I'd like to introduce him. With over 5 trillion through digital transformation by 2030, this company includes e-commerce and mobile apps for the retail industry. With the growth of the digital economy, proliferation of the scams, fake products, fake websites had also grown. Is it really the new crime scene nowadays? Our guest speaker will try to answer this as he dives deeper into the digital economy. How can we maximize and use it to our advantage while keeping with the standards and fitting on all the online transactions? Mr. Alan Go is the country manager of Alibaba Cloud Intelligence Philippines. With over 10 years of experience at the forefront of the ICT industry in Southeast Asia and Greater China, Alan leads the country's operations and contributes to business growth strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker for today, Mr. Alan Go.
Yeah, hello all. Yeah, hello, good afternoon. And also today is really just like great honor for me, just like to make this presentation and also the sharing, and also just like to share my big thanks to Sir Ray and Michael and also Wilma. Yeah, and also I hope that today what I shared that from who Alibaba Group and also our best practice from the collaborations and also the corporations in the digital economy and also the digital medias that can make some valuable, just like, the mindset or some ideas to all of you. Yeah. Okay, so today the topic is about the digital media and also the economy. Actually, in the past few years, especially from the the mobile and also the media, such as the broadcasting and also the live streaming, TikTok, and also the Facebook Messenger and also the broadcasting also is already very popular. I guess not only you, but also even just like maybe your case already, just like where we get used to this kind of the digital media applications, live streamings, this kind of life, right? So, but how Alibaba and also Alibaba Group that we adopt this kind of the digital media into our business, I also wanted to do some sharing. So first, I wanted to, sorry. Oh, yeah, first I wanted to share just like what's the Alibaba Group. Actually, I guess many of you already very familiar with, the Alibaba, this name, and also our founder, just like the Jack Ma's inspiring story, right? Yeah, but if you know that many of you just like know that Alibaba is a very large e-commerce company. But actually, besides the e-commerce business, Alibaba had, had extended our business to a whole, digital just like business portfolio. You can see here from the, this is our digital business and also the retail e-commerce business here. And also this is some consumer business such as the Grab and also the food delivery and also even some traveling business. And also Alibaba, we also have the digital entertainment, digital media business, such as Alibaba Group and also Alibaba Pictures. Yeah, we also worked together and also very closely with the Hollywood movies, just like, to establish some programs for the movies. Besides that, Alibaba Group, we also founded or established some, just like the globally infrastructure business, such as, our Cainiao logistic business, just like it's extended the whole globally, the logistic business. Now already, just like the Cainiao logistic has become the top 5 globally, just logistic company already. And also Alimama is, the digital marketing platform. And also the Alipay, and also on the financial, and also the Alibaba Cloud. Alibaba Cloud, that's what I'm charging in charging the business in the Philippines, because you can see my working title is Alibaba Cloud Country Manager for Alibaba Group. Yeah. So actually, Alibaba Cloud is the technology backbone for the whole Alibaba Group. So in the past almost maybe more than 10 years, Alibaba Cloud is not only to support the whole Alibaba Group's, the business with our cloud computing, artificial intelligence, data analytics capabilities, but in the past 10 years, Alibaba, we also output or use this kind of the same technologies to support the external partners and also our clients. Now, Alibaba Cloud already ranked the number 3 cloud service vendors around the world, and also ranked as the number 1, the cloud service vendor in the Asia Pacific is from the Gartner report. So, mentioning about the Alibaba Cloud, I just want to use one video to show what we have done.
The journey of Alibaba Cloud started from a vision of Jack Ma. A vision to make it easy to do business anywhere. This vision lies in Alibaba Cloud's mission to make the latest technology available to everyone. From the smallest of mom-and-pop shops to the largest multinational companies in the world. As Jack Ma put it,
we can make the technology very inclusive, that every small companies can use it. This is my dream.
This is what sets Alibaba Cloud apart. We are more than just cloud. More than just retail. Combining online and offline shopping seamlessly to provide an omni-channel experience. More than just a wallet. Offering simplified payment and asset management for all citizens. More than just real estate. Bringing convenience to your fingertips through IoT. More than just logistics. Implementing supply chain management for efficient and effective delivery. More than just urban planning. Utilizing comprehensive real-time city data for urban public resource optimization. More than just aviation. Making the journey smarter and smoother for travelers. More than just hospitality. Providing a better customer experience for your home away from home. More than just energy. Enabling a sustainable future for our children. More than just farming. Developing sustainable agriculture throughout the supply chain for farmers and consumers. More than just healthcare. Creating AI-enabled medical applications with data intelligence. More than just sports. Digitally transforming the games for fans, spectators, and athletes. More than just cloud. Exploring infinite possibilities with you.
Yeah, okay, so from this short video, I guess you can get some just like concept about the cloud computing. Actually, cloud computing is not only one technology, but using the cloud computing data analytics, this already implemented in all kinds of the the industries, such as in the city management, in the just like e-wallet, and also in the retail, in real estate. Many just like industry already use this kind of the new technologies to upgrade their the digital transformation or digital just like journeys there. So since today we focus on the digital media, so I also wanted to show another just like small video, say how just like this kind of the digital media just like use the technology and also how to connect it with the business values here.
The 2019 Double 11 has officially begun, and it's only fitting that the opening ceremony for Double 11 features a parade of fashions, beauty, electronics, and wine and spirits brands. These are just some of the new products that top international brands are launching exclusively for Double 11.
We love Double 11 because we believe in the power of leveraging this very unique moment to touch millions and millions of young Chinese consumers. This Double 11, we will introduce a very exclusive designed for China collection.
And if I see something I like, I can immediately put it into my shopping cart. While it's amazing to experience the show live, we here are not necessarily the primary audience for this show. The Double 11 opening show is streaming on 17 platforms in China, so all of the country can see now, buy now.
这个秀们比较真实嘛，而且视觉冲击比较大。看这个秀的过程当中啊，哪些人来了，还有哪些人已经下单了，正在去买。很多人在那里买，我们看到这个衣服好，可能也有冲动要去买。
Yes, so you can see since Alibaba e-commerce already combined with the digital media very closely, and also we use this live streaming pop-up, this kind of the technology to to attract a lot of traffic users, and users from the live streaming, they can get more just like a better experience when they watching the show, watching the live streaming, and then meanwhile they can directly to place the orders from the e-commerce platform. And also, let me show you. See here, use this live streaming. People can do some educational, just like activities in the live streaming, just like to educate the people that how to use live streaming to do the shopping, how to use live streaming to just like to broadcast on this kind of the TV or some other just like the channels. Meanwhile, also just like the e-commerce owners, they can use this kind of the live stream platform to do the private domain e-commerce, just like the traffic collections for their own business. And meanwhile, also even some just like celebrities, they can also use this kind of the live streaming and also to collect the gifts from the fans, and also they can do some interactions with with the fans, between the celebrity and also the fans, and then the fans can get more direct and also the interaction experience with the with the celebrities, and also they can also to do some branding, to do some just like the promotions for some brandings also. Yeah, so this is some typical scenarios. This kind of the digital media or live streaming just like can be used or combined with the business. Meanwhile, but media is a very large, just like the just like an ecosystem. So such as from the from the planning and also the the visual simulation and also coordination, and also even some just like OTT and also some cloud and also even some 5G. Actually, it's a very comprehensive. But I don't want to talk just like a lot of technologies today, but I just wanted to use one good story that what we have done in the Olympic Games to show that the digital media, this kind of the technologies and also the values in the business. So you can see, actually, Alibaba had built a long-term, just like the partnership with Olympic committees. So you can see in the 2020 Tokyo and also in the last year, the Beijing Winter Olympics, Alibaba and also Alibaba Cloud, we already just like use a lot of digital media and also the broadcasting and also some online, offline, this kind of the technologies and also the business values to combine with the Olympic Committee. So let me show you. So in this just like Olympic Committee, we already just like do the live media gateway and also use some just like broadcasting things you can see here. Because in 2017, Alibaba had established a long-term partnership with Olympic Committee. So you can see here, we joined just like the partnerships in 2018, and Alibaba and also Alibaba Cloud, we helped the Olympic Committee to build their Olympic broadcasting, center and also globally. So you can see here. So even in the Pyeongchang, just like we already start, and also till now, we just like had a long-term, just like cooperation, not only for the technologies, but for the media's, media distributions, media broadcasting, and also some just like the online, offline retail business, such as some, some just like the gifts from the Olympic Games, and also this kind of the innovations already, and also some IoT technologies also bundled together. So you can see, such as in the last year, the Tokyo Summer Olympic Games, and also in the Beijing Winter Olympic Games, what you have saw, actually it's not like the traditional TV broadcasting or something already. Actually, all the broadcasting is already transcoded to the cloud and also the media technologies already. So you can see, now in the Olympic Games, we use the venue AI modeling, just like this kind of the technology to do the, stadium, just like this kind of the design, and also some just like the transfer algorithm from the cloud to had a good, the designing for this kind of the, the stadium and also the buildings for the Olympic Committee in Beijing and also in some other cities. And then they can use this artificial intelligence just like to had, a good just like designing and also just like capacity, just like, to calculation for that. And also here, this is also, let me show you. Sorry, how to broadcast this video? Yeah, here, this is, the last year, the Beijing Winter Olympic Games when they start. So there is also a full, the digital media, this kind of the technology and also media, broadcasting here that, Alibaba Cloud can be, the Olympic committees, this kind of the technology provider for
every Olympic Games comes with a monumental challenge. All the sporting events need to be broadcast to billions of people around the world. In order to deliver, an extensive broadcast infrastructure is built for each Olympic Games. The Main Media Center, or MMC, serves as a home base for rights-holding broadcasters who must set up their equipment and run all operations from here, working with the Olympic Broadcasting Services, or OBS, to deliver the hours of programming to their home countries. For the Olympic Winter Games Beijing 2022, however, there were exciting changes to this traditional broadcast infrastructure. Now, for the first time during the Olympic Winter Games, OBS is able to deliver all the live content in high quality through the public cloud. This is made possible with Alibaba Cloud, the worldwide cloud services partner for the Olympic Games. In 2018, Alibaba Cloud and OBS launched the OBS Cloud to leverage Alibaba's cloud technology to address the pain points broadcasters face covering multiple Olympic events. OBS Cloud is an innovative broadcasting solution that operates entirely on the cloud. It is designed to help transform the media industry for the digital era, making the work of broadcasters easier and more efficient, with less equipment, less setup, and more flexibility to work remotely, not just at the MMC. These improvements couldn't have been deployed at a better time at the Tokyo Games, when the COVID outbreak posed an additional challenge, limiting the number of production teams allowed to cover the Tokyo Games. Coming to Beijing 2022, OBS and Alibaba together improved on the OBS Cloud service and introduced Live Cloud as a standard service to rights-holding broadcasters. This allows them to receive live footage at lower costs and less setup time. But there's even more innovation happening in Beijing. To create further dynamic viewing experiences for Beijing 2022, OBS and Alibaba have deployed cloud-based multi-camera replay systems for the curling and speed skating competitions. It was the first time that Olympic broadcasting would process, edit, and share such freeze-frame slow-motion replays on the cloud. It could also generate 4K quality 3D footage, enabling a more immersive experience for global Olympic fans. Since Beijing 2022 had twice the amount of content available compared to Pyeongchang 2018, OBS and rights-holding broadcasters also had a new service that allowed them to create short-form clips on the cloud while the live sessions were being distributed, a more efficient way of covering the large volume of Olympic content, especially for social media distribution. By utilizing cloud-based services, a sizable number of broadcasting crews were still able to work remotely while observing COVID rules. With more cloud technology available for broadcasters, Winter Olympic Games Beijing 2022 is another step forward in the digital transformation of broadcasting the Olympic Games.
Okay. Yeah, so you can get some just like concept of this kind of the cloud, the media, broadcasting, how combined for this almost the world biggest event for the Olympic Games, right? So, and also here, there is another condition you can see, also use this kind of the video and also the just like cloud and also the just like the GPU technologies to support the event simulation for Beijing Olympic Games, including the the play planning and also space planning, broadcasting planning, and also you can see already it's like do with the technology and also the media technology also. Here also, this is a digital badge. You can see before you needed to registration or something. Yeah, but now you use this digital badge that it's not only for the users and also watchers and also participants. They can be easier just like to find their their seats and also their attendance just like record or something. And also here is the smart event guidebook. This is also, for the user experience. Some just like this event organizer, they can use this the smart event guidebook and also to easily to guide the users to find the target, the sporty stadium, and also to find it easily, the target places to go, and also to enhance the user's experience also. Here, and also the media assessment, because not only for the Olympic committees, but also for some TV stations, for some radio stations, of course, there will be a lot of, the media, TV, and also such as the storage and also some media access. Media access is always very just like, important or critical for many media, just like companies. So you can see we also just like offered this kind of the full technologies to support the Olympic Committee to reach their, the media access management just like target. Yeah. Also here is also another very interesting things. So here you can use the virtual conference host. Maybe this is also another small videos. Yeah. you can see actually actually this the hoster and also here it's not the real person. They use the media technologies to create some just like celebrities to attractive the fans, to attractive the new just like a new users. Actually, it's just something like the Aventa, yeah.
In a number of innovative ways. For example, share Olympics-related fun facts. She can also do talk shows to interact with the audience. She can even dance on the Winter Olympics theme song.
Hello， 大家好，我是东东。今天东东的直播间开播了。
And also use this kind of the concept. It's also just like you combine it with some new concept.
Just like
that is the metaverse. Like metaverse, because for now many companies just like try to create a metaverse of using this kind of concept, but definitely you need to use some this kind of the media technologies to create some Aventa or to create some new business models for your business.
Use question answering model to answer the questions, and also we build the stylized and emotional TTS text-to-speech framework that for our audience. So a lot of complex technology together to build the digital human.
In the future, digital influencers will find the ways in bring immersive experience to the global audience.
Yeah, and also here, this is another just like a media technologies based on the based on the connectivity, based on the media, and also based on some just like the 4K, just like UHD technologies from the media. So okay, maybe we can come to here. Yeah. You can see here Alibaba chairman. And
let's welcome the President Buff and Mr. Zhang for their cloudly moment.
They are from a different place.
So nice to meet you on cloud.
Another
great pleasure seeing you, and thank you for giving me this amazing experience. This is a perfect example of how digital technology is transforming the way we experience the Olympic Games. Alibaba is really playing an essential role to transform the Olympic Games, making them fit for the digital age. We experience it right here, right now.
Yeah, so you can say use this kind of the technology. People can easily to get the interactions from the media technologies. And also this is also very important for the video AI technologies. You can see usually there is a lot of the videos from the committees and also even some from the events, but for the journalists or for the newspapers or for the online just like the news channels, they cannot they needed to get this kind of the video scripts just like timely, so they can use the video AI technologies to do the delivery, to do the 18 close up, long shot, and also the ceremony and also the flag raising. So it's also just like to use the AI technology to do the tagging in the videos. And also you can see also some small video. Okay. Yeah. You can see to use the high degree of the freedom, this kind of the technology to do the sports competition and also the culture events also. Yeah. Yeah, and also here, this technologies also use some artificial intelligence and also the algorithm. Yeah, because usually when each people or each user has the different characteristics and also had the different favorites in the videos, in the pictures. So we use this the recommendation, just like scenario or this kind of the technologies to do, to guess you like, and also the related just like medias to promote the targeted videos, to promote the targeted content to the just like the targeted users, and also make the user just like to get the the deeper diving in this kind of the business also. Yeah. And also even the OTT and also the IPTV is also the same. Yeah, you need to always just like to give the targeted user the high valuable things from the different perspectives. So you can say from the content planning, product planning, platform planning, user registration planning, and also the visual aesthetics, all these kind of things you need, just like use the media and also the data analytics and also even some artificial intelligence, just like to support your business. And also here, the narrow band, because usually it's mainly for some OTT and also IPTV, because if when the connectivity is not good, so if you watch some IPTV or just like watch some OTT, the definition sometimes is not good. But if you use this the narrow band, just like technology, you will see the big difference. Okay, you can show this video. Yes. You can see there is the big difference from these two parts. Yeah, this is a little blur, but this is much clear. And also here, this is another just like media technology can be used, because there are a lot of old movies before, maybe they can use this technology to make it colorful, to make it more just like clear from the old movies or old pictures, or even from the museum, some old things, yeah. So this is another media technology can be used. Also here, you can use the media DNA technology just like to protect your copyright. It's actually in these videos, no matter your, just like the face and also all the content, already a lot of tagging inside. So it's very easy, just like to protect your copyright, yeah. And also here, you can see, for the media industry or the media, digital media is a very comprehensive thing. So it's not only for the broadcasting and also the field venue, but also just like for the connectivity and also media users and also some, the data and also even some copyright and also many just like this kind of the critical, supply or change in this media industry. So for the digital media, what we can do, actually, you can see for digital media is, at least, some business owners already had this kind of the digital mindset that they wanted to use some, media or digital technologies to drive or accelerate their new business or innovations. So if you got any just like, support required, you can just like, no matter from Alibaba or Alibaba Cloud, we still can just like working on that. Yeah. So you can see actually, just like very simple, introduce Alibaba also. Actually, Alibaba from the Gartner report, or also the #1 in the Southeast Asia top 3. And also in the Philippines, Alibaba Cloud, we already support, Lazada, Gcash, Kumu, and also Unibank from the UBX. And also from the globally, we already had more than 4 million, just like the customers also, yeah. And also here, we also made our just like investment to the Philippine market. Alibaba, for now, is the only cloud vendor to invest the Philippines local data center. Yeah, we already launched our local Philippine data center since last year. And also here, also the compliance security is very important. So together with some, third party or from our, we already got the globally regional industry and also some privacy GDPR also has some this kind of the compliance certificates also. Yeah, okay, so that's it. I hope that today what we share all our best practice from the Olympics or from other just like media industry can maybe just like bring some little values to you guys. Yeah, thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. Alan just described to you. Please, you can take your seat. Alan just described the digital world, and now we invited panelists to talk about the challenges, the ethical challenges, and possibly the solutions to this digital world. We would like to call on our panelists. We will, as I introduce you, Mr. Ray Lugtu is a digital and culture transformation thought and action leader, a sought-after public speaker and an accomplished educator, author, business columnist, and innovation coach. He's the CEO of Hungry Workhorse and a digital and culture transformation consulting firm. He's the chairman of FINEX ICT Committee and a fellow at the US-based Institute for Digital Transformation. Ray is also a professional lecturer, business columnist. Mr. Ray Lugtu. Attorney Rosemary King Dominguez is a senior partner at CICIP Law and a lead partner of the TMT and Data Group. She authored articles on data privacy and tech laws and speaks regularly on these topics. She is a member of FINEX ICT Committee and a trustee of UP Women's Circle. Attorney Rose has been ranked by Chambers Global and APAC Guides, recognized as a leading individual by Legal 500, Global Leader, FinTech, and National Leader, Southeast Asia Data by Who's Who Legal. Attorney Rosemary King Dominguez. Mr. Alvin Dave Pusing is the Director and Philippine Financial Services and Risk and Regulatory Consulting Lead at PwC Southeast Asia Consulting. He leads the Philippines Risk and Regulatory Consulting practice covering corporate governance, enterprise risk management, risk analytics and technology, risk culture, data governance, digital banking, and core forensics. His professional and industry experience span projects focused on financial services, governance, risk compliance, transformation, program and project management, finance, digital, and cybersecurity. He had assumed roles across the three lines of defense: business operations, management risk, compliance, and internal audit. Ladies and gentlemen, Alvin Dave Pusing. We would also like to call on our moderator for today, Ms. Wilma, who is our chairperson for the Ethics Committee. Ms. Wilma. Perhaps they can also tell us about, in the next GMM, maybe our avatars can join, right, instead of us showing up here. Wilma, go ahead, please.
So thank you, Mr. Alan Guo, for that insightful appraisal of what technology can bring us in the future. Now, Alibaba has just shown how digital transformation is truly changing the way we work, we play, and even the way we live. And digital transformation represents the critical response needed by organizations to meet rising customer expectations, deliver scalable and individualized experiences, and respond to market forces with ever-increasing levels of business agility. Now, digital services and disruptive technologies such as cloud computing, robotics, AI, and big data, combined with optimized operating models, enable organizations to drive innovation and respond to internal and external events quicker and cheaper than ever before. Now, while ethics is clearly something all organizations with a digital transformation agenda should actively embrace, the most difficult challenge will be at an individual level. Organizations do not make decisions, but individuals do. Digital professionals at all levels will need to determine what the right thing to do actually from an ethical perspective. What is considered ethical can vary across individuals, groups, religions, and cultures. And in a global and fast-moving digital society, these leave considerable room for interpretation. So being ethical will ultimately mean having the skills and moral courage to challenge existing norms and act in an ethical manner. What is becoming clear is that trust is the digital economy is only likely to be achieved if digital professionals are willing to make ethical decisions despite working in highly competitive environments. Now, I will show you 5 ethical considerations in the context of digital transformation. Next slide. Can you go to the next slide? Now, there are 5 considerations we need to take into account as regards digital transformation. So, number 1 is privacy, security, and integrity by design. So, while the opportunities to generate innovative and lucrative insights from big data are likely to be significant, so too are the risks from perceived unethical behavior, whether actual or merely unintentional. How data is collected, managed, and used is not just a legal issue, it is an ethical issue. So in the digital world, transparency and integrity must be the core values that guide professional behaviors. So organizations must use data in responsible and ethical ways, and that means not using it in ways that are considered intrusive, manipulative, or disrespectful of others. Now, the second component is promoting trust. Data consumers, whether they are individuals, groups, or organizations, must be able to trust the digital services and the data they are using. Those who collect and manage data must uphold the principle that integrity must be assured if it is to be of value to consumers. Assuring data integrity must mean that organizations have a duty to ensure that data they hold is the subject to robust governance and audit procedures. Now, the third is avoiding biases. Unintentional ethical behavior can be caused by many things, but one of the more likely reasons will be due to subconscious biases that can influence human behavior. For example, cherry-picking data that will be used to support digital transformation, business cases, or to drive the testing of digital services is likely to raise ethical concerns with those expecting such activities to be performed with a high level of integrity and impartiality. The fourth is upholding accountability. Inference models and algorithms are fundamental components within the burgeoning range of smart digital services that provide an artificial intelligence and machine learning capability. Owing to their ability to combine social data with decision-making engines, concern can have grown about the extent to which clear accountability structures can be maintained. And the fifth and last is promoting an ethical culture. So while digital transformation has the potential to create opportunity, value, and success at all levels within the organization, these must be achieved through fairness, honesty, and integrity. Digital organizations, therefore, have a moral responsibility to safeguard their employees from taking unnecessary risk and could ultimately prove to be damaging to both the individual and the organization. So ethics must no longer be thought of just as a marketing tool nowadays that has no real influence on the culture of digital organizations, but it instead represents a fundamental set of behaviors that should be exhibited by all those who have a vested interest in digital transformation. If there was ever a need for ethical principles for digital transformation, it must be surely be now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ray. And now we'd like to listen this time to Attorney Rose Dominguez, our second reactor.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. First, let me commend FINEX and the Committee on Ethics for taking this topic, digital ethics, out of the usual setting, right, of social responsibility and policy, and putting it in a business and enterprise forum. Because I think, as you've started to hear, digital ethics is very much about making strategic corporate choices And later on, you'll hear from Alvin that it's also about risk management. When a friend saw the flyer about this event, he sent me a link about digital ethics. And it was a podcast, and there they described the topic of digital ethics as a big, hairy topic, big, hairy subject, right? And I think just listening to, Alan's very interesting talk and Ray's input, yes, you can see how really digital ethics can possibly be that big, hairy topic. But my takeaway also is that it's not as intractable, right, as it may seem. As a lawyer, I've long realized that laws don't really have guidelines and rules for every situation. Many times it depends on the facts. You'll have to judge. You'll have to depend on your judgment and your wisdom about certain things. And this is very true, for example, about data privacy law. We've been hearing a little bit about it already. In fact, when a client asks me, can they do this or that about data, personal data that they've collected or they're trying to collect? And after the usual discussion on the need for lawful basis and the need to give information to a data subject, sometimes what I tell my client is, well, if it were your data, how would you feel about it? So sometimes I ask that question to a client, of course, after the usual discussion on law, etc. And I know there are two things that you're thinking right now. And is one, really, you charge a client for that advice? and I think the second thing that's probably going through your mind now, well, that sounds very biblical, right? Do you want something done to you that would you do something to others that you wouldn't want done to you? Do unto others, right? Or love your neighbor as yourself, or in this case, love your neighbor's data as you want your data to be loved. Well, putting the word digital in front of ethics, I guess, doesn't really change the nature of the exercise. The word ethics, it's a complex term, but at the end of the day, I think we can agree that it really is concerned with the question of what's the right thing to do? And is it the same as the legal thing to do? And maybe we won't get Ned is shaking his head. So maybe we won't get a consensus, right, about that particular question. But I do think that in respect of digital ethics, and here we're talking about digital ethics being social responsibility as applied to the use of technology, or norms dedicated to ensuring the autonomy and dignity of users. I think significant aspects of our laws, of Philippine laws, do reflect current thinking about digital ethics. I also think that our laws will likely follow what seems to be a global trend, right? Towards an expectation that digital businesses establish and observe an ethical framework. So Ray talked about different digital ethics principles. Let me zero in a little bit on one, and that's privacy. Usually it's considered as part of the idea of safety and security as a principle of digital ethics. Just to let you know, our DICT, with the support and participation of several stockholders, has actually come up with a national ICT economics framework, which is a policy roadmap for the Philippines. And when you read it, you will see that it does recognize the need for digital ethics or components of digital ethics in the pursuit of that particular policy. So back to privacy, we know that we do have a data privacy statute, right? The Data Privacy Act of 2012. There's a lot of things to unpack there in terms of digital ethics. We can't go through that, but I just want to note a couple of things. First, maybe to give you an example of how digital ethics is encapsulated in our statutes, I'll talk about the idea of legitimate interest. and I don't know if any of you are involved in data privacy here, but you know that one rule is that you can't use personal data without lawful basis, right? And usually like consent, our consent. One of these potential bases is legitimate interest. It's available only for personal information, not sensitive personal information like gender, like sexual orientation or religious affiliation. So only for personal information. Legitimate interest, what is that? It's a very broad term, and one might be tempted to look at it as a kind of catch-all. Well, my purpose is legitimate, it's not unlawful. I can use your data. I can use your personal information. But the NPC, our NPC, the National Privacy Commission, in fact has given us an advisory saying that's not true. Just because your purpose is not unlawful, it's not criminal, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a legitimate interest. Your interest has to pass 3 tests. Number 1, do you have a lawful purpose? It's not illegal. Second, is the processing necessary for what you want to do? Do you really need it for that particular purpose? And third, have you balanced the interests, your interests and that of the data subject properly? So this concept of legitimate interest, as you can see, encapsulates the principles of digital ethics of fairness and intention. Second thing I want to touch on quickly is what Ray already started to mention, and this is the ethics of algorithm, right? And he mentioned that one of the main issues of this issue is bias. I'll give you an example. There's a software, or I think there is a software, which allows you to interview job applicants. You don't do it anymore. Your HR guy doesn't sit there. You just have this software, right? And then the applicant goes through it. And there are questions that are asked, the applicant answers. There's no human intervention. Depending on the responses, some applicants proceed to the next stage, some are dropped, right? So one potential question is, what if after you look at the outcome of the use of this software, you find, for example, that more women are dropped? For example, of course, I'm pretty sure that that shouldn't happen, but what if, right? What if? So this is one of the issues, because there are studies that have evaluated other algorithms which show that even though the intention of the software is lawful, the outcome has bias. What does our privacy law say about that? Well, basically, the DPA only talks about automated processing, automated decision making, and maybe that's what's more akin here in profiling. Those are actually allowed under the law. It's not prohibited, but there are just a few guardrails. You have to tell the data subject, you have to explain to them, they have to consent specifically, for example, to automated decision making where that is the sole basis for a significant decision. And then you have to tell the NPC. But of course, the DPA doesn't say specifically, oh, and you need to check for bias, even though the statute does have general principles about accuracy and fairness. I think there one would have to rely on other laws, and we do. We have the Constitution on equal protection of laws. We have our labor code and other statutes that prevent discrimination. Just to finish off ethics of algorithm, fake news, by the way, is part of this conversation, because if the algorithm operates in a certain way, right? And the guys here, I'm pretty sure you've read so much about it, right? If the algorithm acts in a certain way so that the viewer gets the most viewed content, or which includes, for example, whatever they click on. And we know that there are studies that show that we tend to click on things that confirm our own bias, right? So the result is the issue of potential disinformation or worse, misinformation. Because if bad actors understand how the algorithm works, then they can possibly use it, right? For their own good. So, all of this shows to us that digital ethics is actually not really just about personal data privacy. It also talks about intellectual property rights. For example, the sale of counterfeit goods, or even consumer protection law. So I'm going over my time. So I think I'll end here by just saying that digital ethics is a big, hairy topic. It's implementation as well. There are gaps in the law. There are also many, many challenges, which maybe brings us back to the idea that ethics is about the question of what is the right thing to do. Because there is also a second question, and this is, how can we do better? So I think that is the question that is really for policymakers as well as for businesses to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Rose Dominguez. Next, may I call on Alvin Dave Pusing.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. And FINEX, thank you for inviting me in this very interesting topic and discussion. Digital transformation, digital and ethics, individually taken, are very expansive topics. And if you combine or you connect these topics, then it's a very expansive topic to be tackled. And our speaker and my co-reactors have put a very good foundation in terms of the different perspectives as well as the context that we can take in the consideration of digital transformation ethics or digital ethics. Particularly for my reaction or my portion, I mean, as a risk consultant, it's not necessarily that risk consultants are the deterrent of innovation or progress, but as risk consultants, we are also here to be extra set of eyes, helping businesses and decision makers in terms of what are the things that we need to consider when making decisions, particularly in terms of our strategies in terms of digital and innovation. So the angle that I'm looking at, and there are three things that I'd like to focus for this item, especially in terms of digital. There is a specific interest in terms of artificial intelligence. So how do we now look at, at least in the context of artificial intelligence and the discussion of algorithms, as well as the data that is being collected and used to basically predict our behavior and our choices? So from that perspective, I would like to tackle three things in terms of ethical policies and trying to operationalize it in our respective businesses, especially for trying to adopt these technologies or strategies. So the first thing is, what are our AI risks? The second would be, what are the ethical principles that provide the baseline for our strategy and approach? And lastly, how do we address the AI risks and operationalize ethical AI principles? So I just to illustrate the specific context of these three items. So when we talk of AI risks, so Alan was able to share the expansive potential of digital in the presentation earlier, but in all things, there will be attendant and corresponding risks. So for these potential, we also have to realize what are the relevant risks related to, particularly in terms of AI. So some of the questions that pop up would be, and discussed earlier also by my fellow reactors. So are algorithms making decisions that align with our values as individuals as well as businesses? Do our customers trust us with their data? And there will be questions in terms of how will our brand be affected if we can't explain how AI systems work. So there is a concept of how to explain, or explainability, in terms of our AI strategies and tools. So it's very critical for us to anticipate the problems and the potential challenges in terms of our systems, so we can realize the potential. And as business leaders, as decision makers, it is a responsibility that falls on all of us. In terms of the specific taxonomy of risks, and this is something that we have also looked at in our latest responsible AI survey, it includes application level risks, for example, considerations in terms of performance risk, security risk that has been covered also earlier, and control risk. And I'm just showing it for everyone's appreciation, although we will not go through each item in more detail. So some of the more prominent and visible risks are those impacting performance, which includes, for example, poor accuracy and the presence of errors stemming from poor data quality, bias, overfitting, or inadequate testing procedures. So particularly in terms of performance, of course, the algorithms ingest real life data and real world data, and there might be some biases that are already adopted by looking at these data with the possible biases and prejudices. So of course, security is always a concern, as well as the control in terms of having that reign in terms of our technologies. But if you will look at the right side in terms of the business and national level risks, so there are also items that will be considered in the context, for example, of reputation, more importantly, discrimination, any issues in terms of job displacement, as well as also mentioned earlier, in terms of societal risk in the context of misinformation and information manipulation. So in terms of these areas, the specific risk on our AI systems will will be directly related to the application context. So there are concerns in terms of what data is used, what types of decisions are made, and whom, and which AI technique has been adopted. Right. So with the consideration of these risks, and of course ethics is a lot of items to be discussed also, and there are a lot of principles that are being adopted in terms of ethical AI. So at least from our perspective, amounting to around 200 total principles. So this is just a summary or a condensed version of what can be adopted as the ethical AI principle. So you have concepts such as, or principles such as interpretability, reliability, as well as the general ethical AI principles of accountability, data privacy, lawfulness and compliance, beneficial AI, human agency, safety, and fairness. So based on the survey that we have for this, organizations are trying, and over half of the companies surveyed have formal policies already. But the challenge is more in terms of the actual implementation and operationalizing these principles. Lastly, as a risk professional, it will not be complete without what we call the three lines of defense in terms of governance. So adopting the Institute of Internal Auditors three lines of defense model, when we look at governance in AI, this is also something that we can adopt for AI governance. So you will have considerations in terms of the first line of defense, so who are the creators, the executors, and operations. And basically these team members are specifying, designing, building, deploying, and operating these AI/ML models, automation, and software. As a first line of defense, they are accountable to the risks related to AI. And of course, you have the second line of defense, overseeing how the first line is taking care of their risks related to AI. So you have here the managers and supervisors looking at the different contexts of the first line. And lastly, the third line of defense, by default, it's the internal auditors are there. But one thing that is new in the third line is what we call the ethicists. So these are the specialists that will have capabilities in terms of ethics and looking at the ethical angle of the first line and the second line of defense. And so just in terms of the key takeaways, looking at these three items that I discussed. So when we are looking at digital ethics or AI, so we need to have a closer look in terms of how AI affects our financial, operational, and reputational risks. We also adopt the commensurate governance structure with using the principle of proportionality, as well as operationalizing our ethics and the principles so that it becomes more of a practice rather than theory. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Dave Hussein. I'd rather call him Dave than us. Okay, so that's it. We had really a feast, in quotation marks, of valuable insights from our source speaker here and from our different reactors. And in an industry like ours, like the financial industry, we are really faced with a race for competitiveness in technological innovations, and with it comes the risk that goes with that technological innovation. So what are we going to do in this case? This is a very important topic we have right now because we also consider ethics in the digital economy. So the rule here for the Q&A is we have a discussion first with the resource speaker and the reactors, then we can entertain questions from the audience. I think we have a microphone on the floor, so you can go to the microphone and ask your questions later. And so for our Zoom participants, you can send your questions through the Viber. We have assigned somebody to take care of the questions. So I'd like to start the ball rolling here and ask a resource speaker. As Alan, as a hyperscaler, how can you be an active agent in helping promote ethics in digital transformation? You have the microphone there.
May I have your question again?
As a hyperscaler, how can you be an active agent in promoting ethics in digital transformation? How can you be an active agent, or how can you help promote ethics in digital transformation? Your features in the Alibaba Cloud a while ago is so impressive. I was so impressed with those features that you have. But how can you be, or how can you embed ethical issues or ethical prevent ethical concerns later?
Yeah. Okay. For this, as is, this perspective, I think, as as a cloud vendor or as a hyperscaler, I can share 2 points. The first point is, from us, since we offered our cloud products or solutions for our, partners and also clients, yeah, definitely, what we have done is actually is a trusted business. Because only the customer or partner trusted your branding, trusted Alibaba Cloud, and then they can place their applications or their system on the cloud. So from our own self, we must to guarantee our data center, no matter the location, and also the disaster recovery, and also redundancy, and also reliability is totally comply to all the the globally and also the regional or industry levels compliance and those certificates. And this is the first point. The second point from us is that we must to help our we had some commercialized the products, right, in the solution, such as we had the landing zone solution. Landing zone solution actually is not any just like product. Actually, it's just only some consulting service. When some customer, actually no, for now, many just like companies and also even conglomerates already take actions and already just like made some planning or strategy, just like to migrate some system or applications on cloud, but they didn't know how. And also they didn't know that what kind of the risk or what kind of the measures I needed to take, just like when I do this kind of strategy or planning. So Alibaba, we launched this kind of the landing zone service. Actually, landing zone, we call it the service because it's actually a framework. So we would help our partners or our clients to do the planning, to do all the planning. This planning including what? Including the account management, the cost management, the authentication management, and also the DevOps, and also even the just like security management, and also to make sure just like this action or strategy can be implemented just like smoothly, and also can be implemented just like as as a blind from no matter from the cost, from the security or data privacy or something, yeah, all can be just like do it just like step by step. And also the third thing is we offered some, some commercialized products such as, I guess, Elwin, you are very familiar here in the Philippines. The cyber attacking is very common, such as DDoS and also the CC attack, and also your database will be, broken through or from some hackers. Also, it's usually, especially from the SME companies or even some media companies, you do not have so many professionals that can help you to protect this kind of the system. So they must to use some good, products to mapping their demand. So such as, each year Alibaba, our e-commerce, our payments, each year we got maybe millions of attacking each day, especially in the Double 11 shopping festival. So we use our capability, such as our anti-DDoS capability, our web application firewall, this kind of the capability or services, because this kind of service already protects Alibaba Group business. Definitely, I believe that our products can also protect some other companies' business in our cloud. Yeah.
Okay. So this applies also to your data center, being the first cloud provider who had the data center in the Philippines. So I understand all of these features or security features and ethics considerations goes into play also
Yes.
for your data center. I'd like to comment also on a reactor, Ray. You were discussing a while ago about ethical considerations and particularly in avoiding biases. But do you agree with me that algorithm biases can sometimes be machine-driven and cannot be controlled by humans? Like what we have in Amazon in 2018, which Attorney Rose had mentioned a while ago about biases in recruiting, that they were more aligned towards men than women. I think this happened with Amazon in 2018. It is not within their control, but algorithm bias. So how do you think we can be able to control this kind of, how can we prevent such thing happening?
Well, algorithms and AI, in general, they are as intelligent as the data you feed them. So, if you feed them data, like a Western type of data, then of course the bias will be Western oriented. So to avoid biases, there has to be good representation of data. So if you're talking about recruitment using AI, then the data that you should feed the algorithm or the AI should be representative of all aspects, regardless of race, gender, religion, so that when the interview happens, there is no bias. So, but then the limitation is the availability of data. That's the limitation here. So that's why AI or algorithms start somewhere. They start somewhere, and many of the algorithms are created by Western companies. So of course, it's Western oriented. Until they get clients in Asia, it becomes intelligent. Then they will feed data. They will feed the algorithm with data from Asian perspective. Then it becomes intelligent. So it takes time because many of the technologies being developed are Western oriented.
So we progress as we go along, right? And all of these biases can perhaps be completely solved in the future. And for Attorney Rose, that was a good comment on, not all the laws do not have guidelines for every situation. And you're speaking particularly on data privacy law and national ICT framework for digital ethics. Now we're talking about after effect. No? We're trying to place in the necessary features, security features and all that. But don't you think that before any innovation is being implemented or released in the market, there should be an evaluation ethic bodies going to study and evaluate the possible risks that this innovation might bring along? Innovation's already there and there are already problems being faced by the public because these innovations, they have the risk that these were not anticipated before. So you think if we have an ethics body or an ethics committee or a government body to study, evaluate these innovations before these are being implemented?
Well, first of all, I think that's the one of the points of those who who are proponents of digital ethics, that it really has to be an important component of looking at technologies and businesses, and that it has to be integrated into the design, right? In the same way, it's privacy by design, it's also ethics by design. So that precisely is what people are pushing for. And actually in many other countries, including China, for example, they have like an academy, I think they have like an institute on AI and ethics. So, and there are other, there are even cities that have committees on ethics and AI. So what you've mentioned is something already being explored. I think for us, we don't have like a committee or a body that says ethics. But as I mentioned, it is, I think, top of mind of our policymakers, including the DICT.
Yeah, because I think in other countries, they're starting to have guardrails. Before any innovation can be introduced in the market, they are being studied and evaluated so that if the risks are there, they can be mitigated, if not eliminated completely. Okay, this time for Alvin Pusing. You were discussing about application level and business level in a firm, right? Like for instance, for us, for audit firms, we are subject to IESBA or International Ethics Standard Boards for accountants. So you have within the firm. But outside of the firm, I think it's also important that our clients would be aware of the risks involved, no? Not only within the audit firm, but with the clients also.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, part and very core to our practice would be ethics, risk, and quality. But the framework that I shared earlier are equally applicable to the general businesses and firms. The framework is equally applicable in terms of what will be the considerations, what will be the risk areas, and what will be the approaches in terms of addressing this risk area before it happens and even after it happens. The critical part is having that consciousness or framework. What would be the considerations and what are the type of risks that we can expect in terms of adopting AI or digital, and then crafting corresponding mitigating or action plans so that when it happens, you can't prevent all the risks, but you also have the remediation that once it happens, you can respond to it.
Exactly, and that's a very good application and business level of risk that you have mentioned a while ago, which you can also introduce to your clients. Before we entertain questions from our virtual participants, is there any question here from the floor? I would like to give priority first to those who have questions on the floor. Tony Boy, Mr. Tony Boy Onshaco, our Chair for Programs Committee. Oh, I think this is the last question. So we have so many questions, but we are limited with time.
No, I'd just like to ask Mr. Go where the server farm for the Alibaba cloud is located.
Where is it located? Where is your
The server farm. Where is it located at?
Here in Makati.
The cloud? The server cloud?
Our cloud region now in the Philippines is located in the Makati.
In Makati. It's not located in China?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
He's afraid it's located in China because of security reasons. But you can sleep well because the cloud of Alibaba here is situated in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, our Philippine region is in the Makati. But actually, not only in the Philippines. Actually, Alibaba, we already built the cloud, the largest cloud infrastructure in Asia, such as in Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Thailand, Korea, Japan, and also even Dubai, UK, Germany, US East, US West. We all had our local data center infrastructures to support the global business. Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't answer your question. Anyway, I think that wraps up our open forum this afternoon. Thank you, our resource speaker, Mr. Alan Cho, our reactors, here to school, Attorney I think they deserve another warm round.
Thank you.
Thank you. I may now turn over the rest of the proceedings to our MC, Mr. Ned Buseco.
I'd like to call on our president, President Mike, to give our guest speaker as well as our panelists a certificate of
All right. So I'll read through the certificate of appreciation. So the Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines presents the certificate of appreciation to our guest speaker and to our panelists. First of all, Mr. Alin Go, in recognition for his generosity in sharing his valuable time, knowledge, and insights as a guest speaker in the 8th General Membership Meeting of FINEX with the theme Ethics in the Digital Economy, the New Crime Scene. Given this 17th day of August 2022 at the New World Hotel Makati, signed by yours truly. Yan, Allen, thank you very much.
And of course, for Mr. Alvin Dave Pusing, and for Mr. Ray Lugtu. Andre, see. And of course, Attorney Rose Marie Dominguez. Thank you all. We'll just take a picture. Then to formally close our program for this afternoon, we would like to call virtually our liaison director as well. So we'll just take the pictures, please. Ms. Flor Tariela will deliver the closing remarks. Ms. Flor.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining today's GMM with the theme Ethics and the Digital Economy. We certainly learned a lot, and our special thanks to our guest speaker, Mr. Alan Go, for his enlightening and insightful discussion of the topic. He was supported by the very active participation of our reactors, digital guru, practitioner, and from the academe, Mr. Ray Lugtu, together with legal expert, Attorney Rose Mark Dominguez, and risk specialist, Mr. Alvin Dave Pusing. This JMM was sponsored by the Ethics Committee, chaired by Ms. Wilma Miranda, who was also our capable moderator for today, with Ned Buseco, our MC. This GMM, of course, would not have been possible without the support of our able secretariat, led by Mike Benluan, Hazel Parapara, Alex Santiago, Lynn Vizcaya, Aljon Kaunay, and Marga Rex. Ladies and gentlemen, ethics and the digital economy. We need ethics. We need ethics in our everyday life. So let us all try to do the right things right all the time, even when no one is looking. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Flor. And that ends our program for this afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. Goodbye and be safe.